Team Ninja has made a comeback with their latest game, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. I can't really personally speak on it. I have most of the Ninja Gaiden games. They are on the backlog as I speak. And the gameplay shown is not exactly a proper representation of the game, but it is still a feature part of the game nonetheless. And if people want to get pissy about that, well, it's an offline game, there's no multiplayer, and I'm not counting the shitty DLC that Team Ninja had to ruin for everyone after Xbox Live was shut down. And you can just play however the fuck you want. Yes, there are taboo techniques in these games, but who's to stop you from enjoying whatever the fuck you want? Unless you're that one dude on the XCOM who is getting horrendously mocked for his Doom 2016 gameplay. Probably because he's touting that the game could run at 60 frames per second on the PS5, which is a literal nothing burger, as the kids say these days. How come every time there is a remotely difficult thing in these games that has absolutely fuck all to do with the genre that it's based on, that it has to be compared to a Souls-like? You have people who unironically called Crash Bandicoot the Insane Trilogy the Dark Souls of platformers, and that's just simply because the original game was tough as nails, with it having you basically requiring to break all the boxes without triggering a checkpoint box, which is the key ingredient into having broken Dream Shutter because you missed one box. And not to mention that the game's controls haven't aged the most gracefully, but I suppose the visuals do. Wait a minute. That's like every fucking game today. Great graphics, shitty controls. People will compare anything to Souls-likes if it's presented as a challenge. And it's fucking retarded. And I can't stand it about these so-called modern-day gamers, TM, as they call it, because do these people not know what fucking difficult games are? There are plenty of games prior to the 7th gen that were seen as actually difficult games that didn't require the ultimate formula of pattern recognition and rolling, or blocking, whatever strategy works depending on the enemy you're fighting. Demon Souls honestly ruined difficulty in games because people think that they beat something like Demon Souls or Dark Souls or even Elden Ring, which, funny enough, there was a top 10 most popular games of all time, I guess, and Elden Ring is on that list, while Call of Duty takes the throne twice. But whatever. FromSoftware really has you maggots on a fucking puppet string, but I'm not going to really get into that. Even though Demon Souls was honestly a massive step up compared to what games were like back then, it has definitely ruined difficulty without question. People will act as if these games are the only games that are remotely difficult, and that if they play anything else, they'll cower at the fact that their strategy of just waiting for a pattern and attacking is not exactly favorable when they have to offer a lot more than just a 2-step program that they signed up for on a fucking online course. It's just asinine. Now you're probably wondering, Playa, why are you ranting about this? Why can't you just let people be happy that we're getting a return to Team Ninja's graceful series that is Ninja Gaiden? First of all, you're going to have people comparing this game to Souls regardless, even if IGN wrote a decent article. And number two, Team Ninja isn't exactly off of the shit list as far as I'm concerned. They still have a lot to make up for the fact that Dead or Alive 6 was probably the worst fucking game in the series. I'm not even kidding. And as someone who wanted to debate me on the XCOM saying that I'm willing to defend Dead or Alive even though it's sold to gooners. Yeah, sending hired goons. Yeah, okay, sure, whatever. Isn't, like, a lot of games doing exactly that? Like with Nier Automata, Stellar Blade, Bayonetta, or if you're really into anything beyond that, fucking Bara and shit. I said Burrow in another video. I feel fucking stupid. Don't look it up, please. Dead or Alive 6 was just, without a doubt, one of the worst Team Ninja Dead or Alive games, without a doubt. And while I'm not going to turn this into a Dead or Alive rant, as that would go completely against the entire point of this rant here. I've started with Dead or Alive 5 on the Xbox 360, the Ultimate version, since, Team Ninja wanted to milk that version too, for all we know. And also not to mention the fact that Team Ninja still legitimately screwed out people who wanted to play the game on PC because they made another version of Dead or Alive 5 last round, but didn't want to bring the content from last round onto the PC. So with them doing that and screwing over people like me who actually like Dead or Alive for the gameplay, they have a lot on their list to clean up if they ever make a Dead or Alive 7. And it's also especially funny that they're essentially saying that they might put Ryu on the sidelines and have someone be part of the main story. Which, kind of funny that when Insomniac said something very similar, people got really pissed off and assuming the game was going to go woke or whatever the fuck that shit means. Very funny how that works out, but I'll just keep my mouth shut about such political nonsense because I don't want to derail this any further than I probably already have. So, what about these so-called Souls-likes that makes them so difficult? Well, let's see. You have to manage stamina. Okay, that's very basic game design right there. Okay, there are a lot of powerful enemies early on, and you owe it to be on your toes. Okay, fair enough. So why is it that this game that's supposedly so hard that you don't actually beat the game unless you do a very, very specific strategy that should only be attempted by so-called experts? And why do these same people who probably don't have anything better to do can dictate on what play styles you've done for yourselves? Do these games have a checklist of how you beat the bosses? Some games have challenge runs that are actually integrated into the game and little objectives that you can accomplish. But no, these games don't have that. They kind of don't care how you do it as long as you do it. Well, of course, not implying that you're using something like Cheat Engine, you swindling person, but that's not even the point. But even with these types of people, they just baffle me as to how they can dictate something. But even the people on the other side that aren't part of the Souls fandom, or not even just part of Souls-likes, period, they can view certain strategies that may not be suitable for everyone. Whether you're using a certain weapon in Ninja Gaiden or God of War, it's just human nature to get mad at others for finding an easy way out, even if it can be seen as taboo or fucking boring. If you're not live streaming or whatever, it really shouldn't matter, but some people will take it to that degree. What's the big giveaway for Team Ninja for essentially releasing a game like Ninja Gaiden 2 Black onto the world? Honestly, nothing. Because I bet you if From Software actually releases their so-called Elden Ring Night Reign standalone game, this shit's going to be forgotten with maybe a week. Essentially, since From Software can do no wrong, and even though people claim that Team Ninja is so back, baby, they'll just probably do some bullshit or censor something, and people are going to go back to hating them, even though they'll also probably announce a Dead or Alive 7 and then ultimately cause another core values and evil moment, which is just genuinely fucking stupid. But I guess I'm part of the problem because, it's not like that it doesn't take a person who doesn't compete in fighting games to know that these things are very apparent. I just happen to care a little too much, but I guess if all I do is scream and bitch and moan, then I guess I'm not really doing anything worth a damn, right? What is making content for enjoyment and awareness, I guess? Even though Team Ninja may have released a game that isn't the standard by kids these days, the cycle's going to continue as long as Hidetaka Miyazaki continues milking the fuck out of the Souls formula. And of course, there are the people who try to intimidate his art, but ultimately fail. Even Salt and Sacrifice is a fucking failure, when even Salt and Sanctuary was actually pretty good. But I'll digress. Just for today. But alright, I want to go back to playing a real man's game.